Good morning, everybody. Welcome to an exceptionally sunny, very sunny South Africa. It's bright. So, a few days ago, Jake was talking about naming your motorbike and so on, and I am, I am one of those nutters that names my car, my bike, my boat, you know, everything. And it all started, I suppose it's my mom's fault if you think about it, that I'm partially crazy. Partially. Okay, let's put it this way. It's partially my mother's fault that I'm crazy, and it's probably genetic. So, years ago, when I was a little boy, my mother had a Austin Apache, little automatic transmission car, small little thing. And I mean, she had named this thing Dumbo, and she had the little Dumbo toy on the dashboard, little bobblehead, which is terribly kitsch, you know, having things and bobbleheads on your dashboard. And I don't know if you remember it, there were always these dogs in the back seats or the back in the back window of a car with the head that used to bob up and down as you used to drive around. Yeah, she had one of those too, but the car's name was Dumbo. Alright, so years later, the first car I bought myself was a Nissan GXEI 2-liter. But it wasn't the first car that I'd actually chosen. The first car that I'd actually wanted to buy was a 2-liter Toyota Supra. Fucking gorgeous thing. Sunroof, bucket loads of power, bucket seats, awesome car. And I went to the bank to try and get the loan for it, and the bank approved me, and I was on my way to the car dealership to go and pick up my new Toyota. And when I got there, the salesman had actually thought I was jerking his chain and that I wouldn't be able to get a loan, so he had sold the car. Schmuck. Even though he promised me he'd keep it. So I didn't get the car that I wanted. And in utter disgust, I was riding my bicycle at that stage back to my apartment, and along the way I picked up a flat tire, and as I'm crouched over on my haunches on the floor, taking a look at the damage from the puncture, I look up and I look straight into the headlights of this Nissan GXEI, also a 2-liter. That's just standing there at this car dealership, which I just happened to get a flat tire in front of. And I don't know, it's like you look into those eyes, the headlights, and this is where the crazy comes in, is you don't see them as headlights, you look at them and you see eyes. The radiator grill is the mouth, you know. So this car was looking at me, and I just fell in love. This car looked so gorgeous, I couldn't not buy it. So I walked in, told the guy I wanted it. He told me how much it was. It was like 10,000 less than the Toyota. And I took it, put the bike in the boot. Well, in the trunk, as you Yanks would say, and you want to tell me, look, I'm not being funny, but you could have gone past there oh, for fuck's sakes. At that stage, the apartment building that I was living in didn't have a garage, so I had to park it at a friend's house, and on the way there I turned on the stereo, and on the way to my friend's house to go and park the car, I turned on the stereo, and what's playing? The Police with Roxanne, you know. So I started singing along, as I always do, to Sting and the Police, and the name stuck with me, and the car became Roxanne. To such an extent that if I was out with friends and I was to say, alright, I'm just going to go fetch Roxanne, that some people actually believed that my girlfriend's name was Roxanne. And I'm getting a lot of wind noise in here today. Because I mean, I always referred to it as Roxanne, and never referred to it as anything else, and yeah. And it became this thing of naming my vehicles with the first song that I'd heard while sitting on them, or sitting in them, or whatever the case may be. And a few years later, I went and sold the Nissan, got myself a BMW, and first song I listened to on the radio, Pamela by Toto. So the BMW became Pamela. And yeah, so then of course, as you guys know, when I had my Kawasaki, the general slang term for a Kawa is a quack. You know, take out a couple of A's and a S and an I. So yeah, in South Africa many years ago we used to have a TV game show called Telefon Quiz, and one of their mascot was this little white duck called the Telequack. So I got the Telequack, strapped it to the back of the bike, and there was a cartoon series of Pinocchio where he had this little duck that was running around with him, and her name was Tina. And of course, the duck, the quack, the Kawasaki became Tina. And the R6 is the only one that I can say, alright, I named it, you know, just for shits and giggles. I named it after Tila from He-Man. There's no real, there's no interesting story behind how I named her. We just sort of gotten used to Tina over the years. When I got the R6 after the cover had been stolen, I didn't want to go too far away from that sort of name, so I named it Tila after Tila from He-Man. And that's how this one got its name. But now, all things hopeful, if everything goes well, I should be getting a F800 ST BMW quite soon. So, firstly, hold thumbs for that I get that little beauty, because that would be awesome. And and I guarantee I'm going to name that one too. But I think I'll do something a bit more interesting this time. But this is the thing, is yes, and it is an inanimate object, but every single one of my vehicles that I've ever ridden or driven has had some sort of a personality. I know it's crazy to say it, because it's just you assigning, human type features to an inanimate object, much like Disney trying to tell you that ants have a social structure that they can change what they want to do, and slugs can that a snail is going to start winning races, but yeah, each one of my vehicles has had a personality in my eyes, to my sense, whatever. So it is a bit strange, it is a bit weird, but then again, I never said I was normal. So when I get the BMW, I can't call it Barbie, because Barbie gives so much shit. I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to think of a different name, and we'll see if I put my headset on the first time I take her for a ride, and we'll see what comes up. We'll see what name she gets. That's of course if I get her, because the guy who's supposed to be selling her for Shelby, I take it the owner's name is Shelby. So yeah, well, as soon as my buddy figures out how much he wants for it, then I can start making plans to get my hands on that BMW, and that will be awesome. It will, of course, mean saying goodbye to Tila, but she's a fantastic girl. I love her to pieces. She's got sexy big eyes, but unfortunately, as I've said, I want to do longer rides, distances. I want to go on tours and these kind of things, and with the seating position, because I'm over 6 foot, so my seating position on this bike, even if I slide my ass all the way back, it hurts my back leaning forward over the tank. So unfortunately, I cannot ride a sport bike anymore. So if you can't ride a sport bike, you get yourself a sport tourer, and that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, anyway guys, I'm at work, sadly. You guys take care of yourselves, keep the rubber side on the ground, keep the shiny side up, and may the force ride with you. I will see you all again very soon.